We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Hello?
Please mute for me.
Hello? Are you hear me?
Yeah, mute for me, Leo.
Yeah, that's good. I see you.
Leo, I need you to mute. Mute for me because I'm going on the air.
Okay.
Guys and gals, it's Donnie Gilson, 32 Degrees of Insanity right here on K-Beach, 88.1 HD3, KKJZ, right here in Long Beach, Los Angeles. And we're also simulcasting on the Truth Frequency Radio Network at truthfrequencyradio.com. It is our fourth broadcast here on K-Beach, and I am so very excited to be here as we do this show every Thursday night from 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, going all the way till 11. Of course, following the sports show, you can't beat it. And also following my show tonight, you're going to want to stick around because Sex at the Beach is going to be going on, and that's going to be an incredible show, too, to listen to as well. And Chantel and I are trying to put together some of the some interesting works together, so we might come up with like a black magic type sex show or something for you all. But tonight, guys, I know you've been listening to the promos all day long here at California State University. Tonight, I'm going to be bringing my good friend, my fraternal brother in Masonic fraternal brother, Leo Lion Zagami. Leo recently was featured on the Lip TV. That was actually Sean Stone's broadcast. If you're familiar with Sean Stone, you're probably familiar with his father, Oliver Stone, who was the director for such films as Platoon and JFK. Wonderful, wonderful director. Well, Sean actually interviewed Leo about maybe 4 months ago. It was actually the same day that we had the earthquake here in Long Beach. Leo was being interviewed in Los Angeles. Kind of weird. Now, Leo Zagami is a 33rd degree Freemason. He is also from Italy. He has worked with the Vatican. He actually kind of grew up as an aristocrat, and he himself founded the brand new anti-NWO Freemason and Illuminati Lodge right here in Long Beach, where I am also the Grand Secretary, which is also a phenomenal blessing that my good brother Leo has bestowed upon me. But it's not about me tonight. It's actually really all about Leo this evening, and we're going to be bringing him on in a few moments here. And along with Leo, now, Leo has put together this book called The Confessions of the Illuminati, and we've been talking about it on the promo all day today, so you're probably like, wonder what's this Confessions of the Illuminati? Well, Leo wrote a 3-volume book. And, I mean, they're fairly thick. The second volume itself actually has a couple chapters written about yours truly. And I was very, very honored to be written about that. Although it's in Italian, so right now I have really no idea what it says about me. I hope it said some good things. And we'll have to discuss that with Leo. But Leo is now getting his books translated into English, and he's also coming out with a brand new book, all in regards to the current Pope. Which we believe is the last pope as we enter into the 7 years of tribulations, according to the Daniel timeline. And we're going to be talking a lot about this stuff. So a lot of esoteric type of subjects this evening. So you're going to want to stick around for this. We're going to be going till about 11 o'clock this evening, so it's going to be phenomenal. Also included in the show tonight, we get a special bonus. Up in San Francisco, California, my good friend Brad Olsen will be joining me on the air as well. So I'm really, really excited to have Brad. Brad is the author of The Future Esoteric. He is also the owner of CCC Publishing out of San Francisco, which will also be helping Leo Zagami bring his books and his research that needs to be brought here to the United States, because this is research that has been I mean, that's the best way to say it. It has been hidden from us. The mainstream media is not talking about it. Definitely our governments are not talking about it. And if you were listening to us last week, we had Trey, our general manager, on the show last week. It was a phenomenal show. And then the week before that, we had Alfred Lambert Weber on the show. And Alfred came out as a judge, basically stating that he is now looking to start a tribunal against former President George Walker Bush Jr. As we prosecute him against war crimes, along with Dick Cheney, the Tony Blair, Donald Rumsfeld, the former U.S. Defense Secretary. So a lot of things have happened on that. And if you have not had a chance to listen to any of these shows, really easy to find me. You can listen to my archives free of charge, commercial free, on Spreaker.com. That's www.spreaker.com. All you have to do is write in the search engine 32 Degrees of Insanity or 32 Degrees, and it'll pull right up. And all of our shows, including a show that Leo and I did about, maybe 4 months ago before he left to go back to Italy. And it is very early in the morning, by the way, in Italy. So we want to thank Leo very much for joining us this early in the morning. But before we get into this, I want to read something to you. I kind of downsized this a little bit, but I wrote it on one of my, I'm taking a social psychology class here. At good old California State University. And I wrote this in regards to my brothers. And this actually will kind of go along with what we have to talk about tonight. So before I bring Leo on, and before I bring Brad on, and before I bring Ben back on, Ben, my co-host, we're going to read from this real quick. I go, brothers, I tagged you with this note because it was not for all of you. All I wanted was the men that I love today to read this. I recently wrote this dialogue for my social psychology class here at California State University in Long Beach, and I'll be doing my senior project on this important subject, and I just want to share this all with you. I thought I would send it as a note rather than an email. I have also made this particular note private, but now it's no longer private because I'm sending it down on the air here. But I wanted to give it to all my brothers that are back home at Braden 168, my Freemasonic brothers tonight. We actually had our stated meeting this evening, and some of my good old brothers back home are praying for me. I'm dealing with some other issues. I had to drop a couple classes today, and dealing with some health issues. So just keep me in your prayers, and things will get along just fine. But I want to read this real quick. On 9/18/2014, I've been very blessed over the years by achieving 2 associate degrees, the first in computer science from St. Paul Technical College, the second last May from Long Beach City College here in the field of psychology. Over the years, I became affiliated with a fraternal organization that motto is to make good men better. This organization is within the realm of Freemasonry, where I have been raised to the 32nd degree and have been knighted as a Knight of the Rose Croix, a Knight of Malta, and a Knights Templar. More recently, I was bestowed the great honor of becoming the United States Grand Secretary of the Ordo Illuminarium Universalis, number 66. For our first blog entry, we were asked to reflect back on the group or social category that I belong to and describe in depth what this group truly means to me. I thought the best way for me to give an accurate description is to edit this blog that I posted last winter in regards to Freemasonry and what it truly means to me. However, in order to explore this more in depth, I will need to give you a bit of background and information about my own personal affiliation with a very unique subculture within our modern-day society. That has been continually shrouded with mystery and controversy, a society called Freemasonry. Roughly 8 years ago, my grandmother informed me that several of my relatives, including my grandfather, were Freemasons. This information came as quite a shock because, like other non-Masons, I'd always looked at the organization as some sort of society that dabbled deep into the occult or, even worse, witchcraft. There were things that I had gone against everything that my own spiritual and Christian beliefs believed in and held so closely. Now, Karl Marx once stated, a false consciousness was a lack of understanding of capitalism nature and the enormous belief that capitalism operates to a worker's benefit. I, too, had to come to the false belief, much like the proletarians of capitalism, that Freemasonry was some sort of cult that worshipped Lucifer, otherwise known as Satan. I once believed that the Freemasons, much like capitalists, had created our governmental structure, which directly influenced everything that was negative within society, such as politics, the economy, and our country's core belief systems dating all the way back to George Washington. So it had came as no surprise to learn that my misconception about Freemasonry was entirely wrong and unfounded. In fact, my grandmother opened my eyes to what truly meant to be a member of an elite brotherhood of men that took on the ideas and principles of just making good men better men. Additionally, my grandmother educated me about the experience that my grandfather had as a Mason and how it improved his life as a police officer and as a member of his community. Learning this information ultimately led to the natural question, how come you never told me about my family's association with Freemasonry? All my grandmother could say was give me a simple smile and a little chuckle by saying, well, Donnie, you never asked, so I never told you. Even though I was able to get past my unfounded beliefs and became a Mason myself by following in the footsteps of my grandfather, with this in mind, I decided to join this fraternal organization of Freemasonry where I became a Master Mason. I was knighted as a Knights Templar and achieved the prestigious 32nd degree within the Scottish Rite. I must state that this did not come without its own share of troubles. In fact, over the past 8 years, I've experienced a multitude of negative reactions from friends, church members, society as a whole, because of my affiliation with Freemasonry. I believe that the reasoning behind this is not far different than what the sociological views that once held towards Freemasonry. Freemasonry has been demonized over the centuries, branding it with conspiracy by movies, television, and the internet. Now, earlier I spoke about how I had fallen into the trap of believing that all Freemasons were deviant and had no place in society. I fell victim to this because I was not educated enough to understand the true culture of the craft and about the men that proudly call themselves Freemasons. As I went through the rituals for the 1st to the 32nd degree, I can honestly state that these types of allegations could not be further from the truth and that our society has been misinformed about the true nature of values of which Freemasonry actually believes in. It seems as though mainstream sociological values are just general and abstract standards that help us understand what a group or society considers to be right and or important among the rest of us. As I described earlier, one of the core aspects within Freemasonry is to make good men better, and that they are not a bunch of men just sitting around trying to figure out how to take over the world. The misconception here is the Freemasons have here to create the misconception here is that the Freemasons are here to create some sort of new world order, much like the conspiracy theorists would like for you to believe as they misinform society through television, movies, and other forms of media. It is my personal opinion, and the majority of men within Freemasonry abide by a high standard of norms and laws by telling us what should and should not be given in any situation. And becoming a Mason, I am too expected to follow those norms and obey those laws that are presently presented to us under our own Masonic constitutional guidelines. Masons are bound not only by the cable toll of our brotherhood, but have serious oaths that bind us through time and space. I believe that one of the most important values that all Masons strive for, regardless of race, color, creed, or profession, is that they all meet upon the level. What this means is that no Mason is better than one another, and we are all equal under the eyes of God. It troubles me when society goes around spreading false information about who and what Freemasonry is all about. There is nothing evil or taboo about our craft. In fact, we are just a group of men that believe in a higher power and to maintain our lives to a higher standard under that commitment. I really truly understand that all roles and I could not really place a group that I would not associate with other than something that could be considered dark or evil. I understand how modern-day society could become confused about our craft because of our certain use of certain occult symbols